Hey everybody, this is Wallace. I am a flippin' vampire. Flippin'. Let me do the. See that? See that? What's going on? Starting to get serious. I'm starting to actually look like I'm gonna say like a character out of a western. I got the. That's how you know I'm evil. Got the little. If you see somebody with a mustache twisting like mine, it's a clear indicator that that person is a vampire. So, this is interesting. I'm sick. I'm getting sicker. I can feel it coming on. Like I got vampire disease. No, but really, I got like this cold. Um, it's not gonna be fun. Um, I was thinking about something interesting. Like like my life is kind of like crazy, but like I would not spread false information. That's not my thing. I would not enjoy that. I don't really. I don't know. But for funsies, I was like, well, can you can vampires get sick? And the answer is yes. If you get a cold, you know how like people cough or sneeze and then the germs and other people get sick from the same sickness. Does the sickness change if it goes through a vampire? Me being the leading scientist, I have no freaking idea. I actually have no freaking idea, but I do want to spread a false rumor that vampire cooties. If you get a cold from a vampire, you get. I don't think so, but wouldn't it be kind of funny though? It's like I don't know if you've ever seen like the Willy Wonka movies, but there's always like this one guy who eats like a candy or something, and like his face becomes green or whatever. There's always like that one guy. Like, what if you got like a cold from a vampire and your face like just like turned blue or green or whatever? That'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. It'd be pretty funny. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna see how I feel in the morning. I might not go to work, but I want to go to work. Um, Feeling pretty good. Um, I think things are progressing. Um, I have no idea. Like you ever feel like you have a like imagine like your parents are like holding your hand, like taking you to like an amusement park. You have like no idea. You just know you're going to an amusement park, right? And you're like, yeah, amusement park. And there's like a clown there for some reason. There's like a water slide. And you're like, yeah. You're all excited and stuff. And your mom and your dad are just like, this is gonna be amazing. You're gonna love us and remember this and cherish this memory forever. Well, imagine your mom and dad were a subconsciousness that you could not understand that was what you believed to be just vampirism and magic. And mix a little bit of God in there and mix a little bit of stuff you don't understand. And then mix it up in a bowl with like cake batter. But put all that in cake batter. Put it in a pan and cook it for a bit. Take that and and that's what I feel. And I'm just like walking to an amusement park and I've got this metaphorical parent that's walking me, and I have no idea what the heck. I just know it's gonna be kind of cool. I'm just like, there's a clown over there. Like this is good. How can this be bad, right? That's basically how I feel. I'm like, I just show up at places, you know. I'm at that. I was gonna say I'm at that point, but in reality, I just show up at places and just like do my thing, you know, whatever it is I'm doing. You know, I'm not like in my mind. I'm like, well, you know, I'm just kind of like a rock star vampire leader, dude. All it takes is for me to walk into some place and it's funny and it's I have no idea what's going on, what's going to happen next, you know. Um, you kind of get used to it after you get kind of used to it after a while, but I'm starting to I just really appreciate the quietness, like, you know, I'm just like home alone and thank goodness for the ability to forget. I've developed that, like, block things out because right now, you know, if I look deep down inside, I could miss and feel those feelings of missing people, you know. But for the most part, I don't feel any. I'm just kind of numb, you know. I've got these. I feel like I've got all these feelings bottled up. So all I know is that there's just like this magical bottle inside of me, just like roaring. Oh, that was really loud. Sorry. Just like a roaring bottle of magical chaos of like people and things I don't understand. And it's just there, just sitting there, you know. And like the heat coming off from this, you know, metaphorical bottle inside of me is just like powering my pretty useless. I want to say useless, but like I have no idea. Like you ever like I just explained how it's like walking to an amusement park with imaginary imaginary parents. It's like you don't really know what your imaginary parents are made of or doing, you know, but you know they're doing something, you know, and a bottle inside is helping them do their thing. Like I don't really know. I'm just if I really want to get far out there in creative thinking, you know, I'm just kind of like what am I really doing? You know what I mean? Like, am I really doing anything besides just like I see something, someone talks to me, I say something, I see something else, I move here, I lift this box, I read this book, I eat this can of chili. But like everything else besides that is just like happening, you know? And so like to me, I'm like, what am I really doing? You know, I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. But like my imaginary magical parents, my spirituality, my actual innate magic, it's just part of the universe, you know, so to speak. And it's just like I'm not controlling the universe, but like maybe like this metaphorical thing, these things that I'm describing are a part connected to much higher power things that I can't fathom, you know. I don't know. And who's to say that I'm the only one? Obviously, like people are connected, you know. So yeah. Um, right now, how do I feel? I feel like got a headache, slight fever, um, stuffy nose, bottle of magical energy inside of me just kind of simmering. I feel kind of like clearly I don't do drugs and I'm smoking nicotine, but I kind of feel got kind of like a lucid, it's not the right word, but it's like a lucid kind of high going on. Like my brain's kind of just shut off because I'm feeling sick, you know? It's kind of weird, you know? But it's not too unpleasant, you know? I'm not like in a lot of pain or anything. My leg hurts a little bit, but I literally feel like I'm just kind of floating, and it's not bad. Um, it's not easy being a vampire. Really not easy. I mean, I really do miss doing a lot of stuff like normal people would do, like going on dates and like hanging out with friends, going somewhere. It's kind of being the third wheel and just like being dumb. I used to do that, but nope, no more. It's completely out of my life. Some of the jokes I can make now are actually very unique. They're mostly true. All of them, I'm pretty sure, are true. Everything I say, for the most part, I'd turn it into a joke. And like some of the things are like super duper sad, but that makes for like really like truth telling humor. So these things that I no longer have in my life are funny, can be funny, and just like make people look at me like I've got like a third head grown out of my neck or whatever. It's just like, okay, you're super weird. I don't know. I think as much as I miss getting a coffee and like dating a girl, like it's almost like a small price to pay compared to everything that I have gained by being a vampire. And yeah, make my skin all glowy, glowy. Sometimes I'm really stupid and like I make jokes about transforming. And I'm like in public, I'm like, transform, transform, or like say stupid stuff. And, you know, just for funsies, just burning energy. I've just got so much of that magical energy inside me I was talking about. I'm just like letting it flow into. I don't know if I should call like certain magic like spells or whatever, but screw it, you know. So I want to cast some spells. Reading this fantasy book about dragons. I think I mentioned it's great. And I'm like, they're doing spells and stuff. I'm like, yes. Let me comment about dragons too. Like, I think dragons are some of the best creatures, imaginary creatures, no fantasy creatures. Uh, and one of the reasons why is that they're just so funny. Like in most situations, dragons are like they should be like omnipotent, meaning that they're like all powerful, but they're not. Like they're never ever all powerful, and they're always like assholes too. They're usually like that one guy in the room who's just like there. It's like I don't really want to be here. I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing. Don't get along with anybody. Got scales and claws. I can breathe fire and stuff and fly around and cast magic and channel magic into people. I really, besides that, man, I'm just kind of hanging out. I kind of relate, you know. I don't know. It's like I feel like most of the time my reasoning for things don't even make sense. I talked about just like doing things and not thinking about it, but like sometimes I actually do think about things, which is rare. And when I do, I usually like kind of regret it because then I'm like, I'm at like, if this, and this, then this. Woo! And I'm like, well, crap. Why did I give myself that idea? You ever do that? You ever think about an idea and you're like, damn it, now I want to do that for whatever reason. And when I'm thinking like that, it's usually like, well, what are the responsible thing would be like, what are the ethical and moral implications of my actions and the possibility of actions of others? And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, well, as long as everybody, you know, who am I to say that the ethical decisions of other people are my responsibility or in my power? And then I realize the strength of leadership that I have and realize that yes, even that I should have a responsibility or an awareness in hopes of reaching a ethical equilibrium of outcomes, or I can just be a dragon and just kind of doodle around, which I typically do. I prefer to doodle. Um, that would be the technical term for screwing around, but trying not to be an ass like too much of an asshole while still trying to be ethical and love people. But yeah, I don't really want to make myself feel overwhelmed um, or sad. Part of me thinks like I feel like a father in a lot of ways because I don't have children, but like I've been around people so much that it's like, well, maybe it's just my instincts trying to be a good dad in some way, like a type of father, type maybe not an actual father, but a type of individual who um, wants to use his or her abilities to um, try to get to a better destination with people. But I don't know. I also feel like when I start thinking like that, the idea comes like, oh, I should be doing more with my life, But I'm already doing so freaking much. I feel like I'm already overwhelmed. I'm like permanently overwhelmed. But I've reached this kind of state of like almost nirvana, of where it's just like my brain has just kind of not stopped caring, but like some of the walls and the barriers and the what you would think would stop a man from thinking past a certain point has basically just been burned away. You're just like doodle doodle. Um, I can, if I wanted to, I can, solve math equations and create a computer program that does blue to blue to blue. I can talk to a person and help make them into the best versions of themselves or the maybe not so best versions of themselves. I can do magic, you know. There's certain things that I feel like the vampire side of me has control over that I can't really have control over, but I've noticed um, being able to kind of see into the immediate future. I catch myself doing that. Like you ever see someone cough and like they hear a cough and then they're like ooh, like startled or whatever. I do this all the freaking time. and I don't think it's a coincidence. Not the coughing, but I'm like, I do like the ooh, and then I hear, it's like half a second to a second in advance my reactions before the event happens. And I was at the library today, and I knew it was a thing. Like I do it all the time. I don't really like, you know, I'm not going around telling people, hey, look what I can do, you know. But it'd be pretty funny though, because I know like as soon as I would say that, like that ability is like it's one of those comical things that like I'd tell my friend that, and like they'd be like, okay, and they just like go to slap my face, and I just don't react and get slapped in the face. you know that I feel like that's something a crazy person would say, like, oh, I can predict things that that start half a second into the future. But I'm like, well, yeah, yes, that's true. That's something that a person who would be identified as crazy, or one of those crazy things that some people might say. But considering I'm a gosh darn vampy vamp, um, it's a little different. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this silly video, and try to drink some water, rest, I guess. Kind of be oblivious to my existence and kind of just let things happen and try to do the best I can. And try to tell people I love them and that I miss them, you know, because it's true. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night. Be kind to your local nice vampire, and stay on message with me, spreading positive awareness and the positive usage of gosh darn therapy videos, and being kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.